Hey.
Hey guys.
Running a few minutes late. Camera sound issues.
But at least we have sound this time.
Yes. Yes, we do. So, I said we would do a recap of last episode.
Yes, we apologize about the sound issues last week. We're not aware of them.
Yeah. Or we didn't have time last week to test, and this time we took the time and we're late today. So, better late than never.
Exactly.
Good thing it wasn't a spoiler-heavy episode.
Yeah. On the bright side, though, it does give us the opportunity to discuss what foreshadowing Matt did.
Yes.
For Midnight Espionage. And when I was watching the episode, I was like, you know, we should have predicted something like this.
Yeah.
Well, when I say that, I mean the end.
Yes.
Because, well, it made so much sense as it happened. I was like, damn it, if we should have called that, we would have been like amazing. But we didn't, so there we go. But he did foreshadow it.
He did.
When Jester was in her room looking out at the Tri-Spires, and Matt described her seeing that one pillar with the people inside.
Mm-hmm.
That was that first hint.
Yeah.
And we said last episode that, maybe it was the episode before, I'm pretty sure, no, it was last episode. The porn was important.
Yes. Yes, we talked about the porn, both the courting of the Crick, which we're seeing unfold.
Yep.
And one of the things that I'm claiming is that Tusk Love and Jester's reading of it, what I claimed last week when they couldn't hear me, was more evidence that she sees her relationship with Ford more than he does, and she's actually kind of crushing on him.
Yeah.
Which leads us back to that predestination paradox.
Yeah, that was my question I put forward. Is because they confirmed basically that Travis's one shot was their announcement to the group that they were pregnant.
Right.
And so I was like, what does that mean? It's a predestination paradox that that Ford and Jester are going to get together. So that's I think that's what we're going to see unfold, maybe. Or not.
We may not. I think Laura is at least subconsciously, if not consciously, aiming for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Ford, I think it's going to take a while for it to grow into Ford.
Yep. And the other thing, relationship-wise, that we saw a little bit more development this last episode, that we saw first in Zemnian Nights, was Knott's near worship of Caleb.
I don't know if it's worship
or
so
wanting
much
to
as,
get him as powerful as possible.
Yeah, for that whole save me crap.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know exactly what it is she sees in Caleb. I don't know if it's just that he uses magic and has befriended her.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think there's more to it. And I think Sam enjoyed Liam's reaction to that so much that this week he was playing it up a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he is a transmutation wizard, so
yeah.
If what you called last week that she wasn't always a goblin, and he wants her to change him to change her back. She wants him to change. Yes, that is the proper use of the pronouns. Then yeah, transmutation wizard works into that. Of course, neither Liam nor Caleb know about that.
No. But she was laying it on thick in this episode.
Yes.
Even
to the point where it almost came down to PvP.
Yes. Which was one of my favorite moments of the episode, but I think we can get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think we have to do,
okay.
And when I was taking my notes today, which I left elsewhere, but one of the things that stuck with me that I wanted to talk about is the apology that we owe the ladies.
Okay.
2 episodes ago, we mentioned how we were afraid that Bo and Jester's attitude, mouth, would get them into trouble in their investigations.
Yes.
And I think that's probably Travis's attitude as well at the table.
Yes.
And this episode, they broke off. Marisha and Laura, they went off together. And Travis made the offhand comment. He's like, yeah, it's not like you're going to come back with Clarota or anything.
Yes, I love that throwback.
And that made me kind of giggle.
Because they did come back with Clarota in the first camp.
They did. And that turned out to be... Well, it turned out to be a big help to them.
Yeah.
Yes, he betrayed them, but getting to where they needed to get, Clarota was a huge help.
Yeah, definitely.
But this episode, the ladies did what they were supposed to do flawlessly.
Yes.
Perfectly. And it was great.
And the guys not so much.
Yeah. No. That was just... Oh. Now, we did get to see the fruits of their dusting off their planning thread this episode.
Yes.
Because right off the bat, Caleb put forward a way better plan.
Yes.
I was like, thank you. Now, it still relied on them burning the bridge of the Knight's Requital.
Yes.
But...
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
See, I maintain that it is. But... so... he wants to frame them in an assassination plot.
Yeah.
Against the Lawmaster. And I was like, that's so much better than what they were going to do.
Yeah.
And then I sort of follow their logic to go after the son. Well, the son's place of business to go after the dad's handwriting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little way far removed. And it turned out horrible.
Yeah. That's an understatement.
3.5 of them, of the 4 of them, almost ended up arrested or possibly committed.
Right. Although we did get another one of their plays that they had mentioned from the beginning, Mother's Love.
Yes.
Where he uses disguised self to be a half-orc woman and uses Not as his child.
Yep. Well, see, I was thinking about that. Is it always a half-orc woman he disguises self as?
I believe so, because Not can't disguise self.
Okay. And you think just the green skin?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
And I kind of like that. I like that we're kind of slowly seeing their little plays. Because they said they had like several sheets worth.
Yes, they did.
Of plays that they...
And they teased enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
And Caleb kept saying, I think that's a little too extreme. Or, no, that is still not the right time. So I'm wondering what that is.
I don't know. Yeah.
Because we haven't seen Caleb... He doesn't have any conjuration magic. other than Unseen Servant, which he just picked up.
Right.
We haven't seen anything else. We haven't seen him perform any mind control spells like Ford has.
Right.
So I'm wondering
Where that falls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I'm almost wondering if it goes with the disguised self again, and it's almost like a Brothers Grimm type setup, where he plays a monster, the enemy of my enemy. This goblin's my enemy, but it's the enemy of my enemy. He just saved me. I'm going to befriend this little goblin.
yeah, but I don't get how that's... Oh, maybe it was extreme in the sense that would cause an even bigger panic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just kind of spitballing there. I'm not sure, but like you said, he's got no mind. He's shown no mind control. He only just picked up Unseen Servant. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I think most things are going to either revolve around the disguised self or the transmutation class ability.
Yeah. 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 That's so. Anyway, they have the fiasco, and when they meet back up, Laura is like, it's too bad one of you just didn't ask to speak to the doctor. And then while you were talking to the doctor, the others of you snuck into the office.
That's exactly what we did. It just didn't go that well.
But that's not what they did.
But that's what Jester thinks they did.
Oh, man. So bad. And it's also interesting that Matt is playing with the idea that Frumpkin is a potential witness gatherer for their activities.
Yeah.
Because the kid comes up and is basically talking to them, asking where Frumpkin went because he was going to pet the cat.
Yeah.
So...
Although the guard's natural reaction is to kick the cat.
Whether they're jerks or they're just frightened in the moment.
Why is that their default reaction? I was right there with you, Marisha.
I support the guards.
And this is why you're only at my house once a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. And of course, it ended up being fruitless. They got basically some disease statistics.
Right. Well, they didn't really look. They just grabbed a handful of papers and took them.
It was literally a smash and grab.
It's not... And what they were looking for is not something that would just be sitting on top of the desk open.
Yeah.
So...
So after mentioning, we have to meet Ulag, and they asked, where are we meeting him? Oh yeah, there. They go to break, they come back, they go without him. Which I thought was hilarious.
The metagame pigeon.
And so Jester figures it out as she's going to go through the main gate, because she decides to be the distraction to the guard so that the others can sneak into the sewer, which was interesting. And I don't know... If I were Matt, I would be clamping off that avenue. Because Jester has tried many times to be bringing in people that the Crown Scar don't want up there.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to be getting a reputation pretty quick amongst the guards. And that's going to be like... her access is going to get curtailed.
Yeah.
Where she can just walk in.
Well, I don't think it's going to get curtailed right away because they've got bigger issues, what with the Zauberspire.
Yes. Yeah. And I have my thoughts on where that's going to.
But that's later in the episode.
Yeah. We got Ulog being humiliated.
That was amazing. And, this episode, his attitude began to bug me more until the end there. And I'm like, yeah, that's another one we should have seen coming.
Well,
And I almost did, I knew there was something up with him, but I didn't know what.
well, I knew it was personal.
Well, yeah.
So I
Everyone
knew
knew
something
it was personal
was.
because we know that it's his wife in prison.
Yeah. I had a feeling that his involvement was going to go sideways,
Yeah,
but
but
not,
I didn't know how.
Yeah.
And I did not expect that.
And Matt did an excellent job. And this is also how you know that that was all pre-planned.
Oh, yeah.
Matt made a point of when she asked him what his outfit looked like. He made a point of describing that orange bead on that necklace.
Yep.
And he finds the paperwork. She comes back. The lookouts fail to see her. She comes in, and he gives the papers to Caleb and jumps, and boom. That whole thing was pre-planned.
Yes.
That was going to happen
No matter what.
no matter what. If they had managed to see her before she got to the house, they may have delayed her, or they may have been able to warn those in the house of her approach. But I think that showdown was going to happen.
That should. Well, they at that point they were all in the house.
Bo and Molly were.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. What was I thinking? Bo was.
She went to the house with them, but she ended up not going in because she was in.
Right. She was on the ground trying to. That's why I thought she was in. She was trying to keep him from going in, and he went in anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole suicide bomber thing, basically.
Yeah.
And what bugs me is why was he trusting them to? I mean, he offered them gold. Why is he gonna throw his life away and trust them not to just be like, well, we got the gold and we don't need to continue this? Because they are by no means honorable people. Even in the showdown, the PvP showdown, there was nothing about being honorable on either side of that. Both of them were doing it for selfish reasons.
Yeah, except the only argument I would make against that is he saw the attitude of Bo and Ford several times, and they're, in his estimation, good enough people.
Yes, but the majority of the times he interacted with them, they were just saying what they needed to say.
Matt indicated that he'd been watching them a long time.
So, I don't
think he ever... So we were talking about the origins of the Knights of Requiem.
Yes.
And we are at loggerheads about whether or not it was a good idea to burn that name in this plot.
Well,
what if that whole thing was hatched by Ulog as a means to find people to perform this act to get his wife out, and he knew he wasn't going to survive it from the beginning? That's why he gave them his life savings.
Yeah.
Down to the copper.
I see it as I see it as more as he found people that were going to be able to get him into her place so he could kill her and seek vengeance. It was more about killing her than getting his wife out.
Maybe.
It was more about the personal vendetta. Because I think he knows, because just like she said, I'll just tack, your extra years onto her and you'll just both rot on different ends of the jail.
Yeah.
I think he knew, even if he found stuff, he probably wasn't going to be able to get her out. And he just wanted to take her out and go with her because he wasn't going to be able to get his wife out.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think he was looking for honorable people. I think he was looking for people who would get him in so that he could take the Richter out.
Yeah. What do you think? We didn't get to see it, but what do you think Kayla's reaction is going to be after this whole thing? Like, processing what he witnessed Ulag do and how they died.
Well, I think we started to see it. One, he was taken out in the blast.
Yeah.
Two, he was very shaken the rest of that evening.
Yeah.
He was, very almost out of it, almost like someone who's in shock from injuries.
Yeah.
The talking a little bit faster. No, we got to do this. No, we got to go here. No, just repeating the same things over and over again. That's what people in shock do.
Yeah.
And I think it was a combination of the shock from the injuries and the PTSD, fire, burning thing. And, I think an interesting thing, let's go back to that PvP. Let's rewind a little bit.
Okay.
He wants the scrolls. He's looking for magical tomes. He's looking to expand his magical knowledge. He's got a reason. This isn't just, I want to learn, I want to be a powerful wizard. He's got something too. And Not's got her reasons for wanting him to do that, to encourage him in that.
Yeah. Because it was pretty reckless of him to just basically go, like, he saw that and that was it. There was nothing else happening for him.
Well,
it was that scroll.
And, the thing is, though, he said, I think I should go in because if there's something magical in there. He flat out said at the beginning, I'm going in to see if I can steal something magical. Well, and no one said a thing. No one even...
No. His tone and manner was that I'm the guy that will deal with the magical threats.
Yes.
You should take me. And I think that's how everyone at the table took it.
But that's not what he meant. I don't think he meant that. I think...
I think both are true.
It.
I think both are true.
I think both are true. I think he tried to pass it off like that, but I took it when he said it as, I'm looking for magic. Same reason he went to the Chastity's Nook.
Yeah.
He was looking... That was his whole purpose in being there. That's why in the other house, while they were arguing, he took that magic stone. When he and Jester were... He's like, while Jester and I are arguing, I take the stone out of the box.
I missed that, even on my rewatch.
Yeah, Marisha says, I'm doing this, and Liam goes, and while Caleb and Jester are arguing, I take the stone out of the box and put it into my pocket. And Laura even missed it at first, too, and then she's like, hey, wait.
Yeah.
This is his whole thing.
Huh.
And I think he's trying to become a power... Hypothesis, I don't know that, this is just something I'm spitballing because I just thought of it, but, what if he's trying to get powerful and he's playing the long game? and he wants Wish to be able to right whatever wrong he did that put him in the position he's in now. But
interesting.
Because of that comment he made when he and Jester were arguing and took that stone, when he said, you should take me because I can identify the magic things, I'm like, he's just trying to find magic. You know, that's why I took it the way I took it. So when that showed up, that scroll case, and you can see when he initially, both Caleb and Travis, both Liam and Travis looks at him, he's like, I know what you're going to do, motherfucker. That's why Travis said, I'm the last one out the room.
Yeah.
I throw the falchion at his neck. You know?
So good.
But that wasn't, you know, and at first I was like, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, Dan's going to call me out on my Molly is the moral compass of the group because of this.
No, I think Molly is ultimately. And because Ford's objection to that theft was not objection to theft. It was, if you take this, they're going to know someone was here.
Right. But let's be honest, at that point, they were going to know someone was there anyway.
Not at her house. They hadn't done anything yet. Lord Sutan's house, they're going to know someone was in there because they fought the rug of smother.
That's true.
By the way, Matt had all of the great rich people wizardry intrusion countermeasures.
So
in that house
with the rug, as soon as he mentioned the rug, I said it was. I in my mind, I'm like, that's a trap.
Yeah.
I was not thinking rug of smothering though.
Oh, I was.
I went to Dungeons and Dragons the movie and thought it was going to be a quicksand trap.
Oh. No, I knew it was a rug of smothering.
When Snails walks to get the map and starts sinking in the carpet. For those of you who want to watch a bad movie and haven't seen it, go check it out.
No, I knew it was the rug of smothering because he had 2 animated armors and an animated sword in that hallway.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen them used with a trigger before.
Yeah.
That was new to me. And I've never used them with a trigger either. Usually if I have them, they're there until you get within range, and then they strike you.
Right. But in that, Ford does that. And he did that just because... The only reason he said I'm the last one in is because he knew Caleb was going to try and take it.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't... It was a greedy thing on his part, too. I don't think it should have been a big deal.
On Ford's part, you mean?
Yeah, it was greed in the fact that he's like, hey, you got to play the game the way I want you to play the game. It was almost an alpha male dominance strike rather than protect the group, or that's how I saw it. It was almost like...
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but the caveat that I would add is, yes, that was Ford taking the leadership role.
Yeah.
But I think that's been percolating in the background.
It's been percolating, but if you notice, the 2 that have been looked at as the leaders are him and Caleb. Him and Caleb have been the planners. And I think, my interpretation of when I watched it was that he is trying to assert dominance over Caleb and secure the leadership. He's not doing it necessarily to protect the group. I mean, he is, but it's as much to say, hey, I'm the alpha dog.
I don't think so. I don't think... That might be a side effect, and the way he did it is going to be counterproductive.
Yes.
and we will see.
Because up until now, he's always been the leader, but the big brother kind of leader, even with Caleb, with Jester, with Bo. Hey, let me help you. Let's try it this way, you know?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's just like, I'll take you both out right now if you don't do what I tell you to.
Which may be a reflection of his pirate past. If he was a pirate.
Or just his half-orc nature.
Yeah, that too.
But I took it as he's trying to secure alpha leadership. He's trying to put the other one in competition for leadership down.
Yeah, see, I just see that as a side effect. I don't think that's why he did that. I think he did that purely on the basis that, like, Lord Sutan's was, I think in Ford's opinion, a failure because there's evidence that someone was there.
Right.
And thus far, he and, like, from his point of view, he and Jester had turned off all the traps in her place, gotten in, and they were going to do everything perfect, and nothing was going to get disturbed. And these yahoos come in through the back, they come upstairs, and now they're going to steal shit when my efforts were perfect.
Yeah, I can see that too. But my initial reaction was, okay, he's asserting.
Oh, yeah, see, mine was, we were doing this perfectly, and you're going to fuck this up if you take that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let you take it. To the point that if it's got to be sword point, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think that was a little drastic. He threatened to leave their bodies there, which, if it was to make everything look flawless and not know, why would he leave the bodies there? If you're going to go as far as to leave bodies there,
if they left bodies there,
take something?
If they left bodies there, though, the High Richter's not going to look any further than those bodies.
Yeah. What ended the bodies? If he's using Eldritch Blast in the falchion, that's not her stuff.
Okay, very
if he's using that falchion, then there's going to be seawater.
Well, if he uses his invocations.
Eldritch Blast.
That's a spell, not an invocation.
That's true. But
although, yeah.
Yeah.
Although we don't know, Matt hasn't described the scene of a crime as being wet. Just that we see seawater dripping from it.
Right. But, well, yeah. But anyway, you know, that's where my thought was. If he's going to leave the bodies there, he's not worrying about keeping the scene neat. That's not the issue.
I think that was a threat to show them how serious he was.
It could.
I don't know
that he would have actually gone through with it.
Yeah. At least leaving their bodies there, because, yeah. I think that was just in the moment, you're not doing this.
In the moment when it was going on, my reaction was pretty much a mirror of Marisha's reactions to that moment. Because I was like, oh, fuck.
I got super excited.
I did too, but I was like, holy shit. You know, I really didn't expect that from Travis. Because, well, Grog was always kind of follow along.
Yeah.
And Ford has always been big brother, let me explain this
and
to
lead
you
from
nicely.
the rear. And thus far, Ford's been like, hey, you do this. When he's actually probably the better one to do that.
Right. And, you know, he's been more the, you know, let's talk it out. Well, why don't we try this? Let's offer options. And here it's just like, my way or you're dead.
Yeah.
You know. And that's what threw me for a loop. Because that's not like what we've seen of Ford to date. And it's not what we've seen from Travis to date.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Grog went up against Thordak, he wasn't like, I mean, he was like, we're going to fight him. But he wasn't like, this is it. He offered him.
Yeah.
The out first.
Yeah.
And this guy's just like, do it my way or you're dead. Even with his uncle, he tried to end it peacefully as Grog. No, he knew it was going to end up the fight, but he offered him.
I think that's an influence of Pike.
Could be. But...
Because Saren Ray, the goddess of second chances.
Right.
all that
and
jazz.
yeah, staying with her and Wilhelm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just such a departure from anything I've seen from him. But speaking of Ford, I don't know if you watched the YouTube video that D&D Beyond put out today. Put it out around 2 or 3.
No.
On Krakens.
Oh, yes.
And how Krakens are one of the first creatures, and they're all individuals, and they have... And basically set it up, Krakens are patrons.
Yeah.
And
Mike Merle's a month ago, in his Mike Merle's Happy Fun Hour, did a subclass of Warlock with the Kraken as the patron.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's...
And when I saw that, because I don't watch that, I'm busy during that time. I don't watch that.
I never...
Kind of aggravates me that he has that name, because I had thought of a show about stuff, and I was going to call it pretty much the same thing, the Happy Fun Time Hour, and now I'm just going to be ripping off Mike Merles if I do that, so... Dang it, Mike! But... Yeah, when he was talking about that and how they're individuals, and they were showing the art from Mordenkainen's of the followers, and I was like, and we know that D&D Beyond is partnered with Critical Role for this campaign, and Critical Role stuff is in D&D Beyond for you to build if you want to make a Blood Hunter, and eventually they're going to put out others, the subclasses in there. How much of this did D&D Beyond... Did Matt influence any of this? Did they talk to Matt? Did Matt have this information going into building Ford? That was where my thoughts went when I was watching that.
I want to say no, but I can't.
Right?
Just because, production times can be way out in advance. And Matt had the Kraken last season that they fought. So, I suppose from our point of view, it could almost be a chicken and the egg thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt shares any story points with anyone.
No, I don't think he does. But he might have asked for information on Krakens.
Yeah.
And Mike Merles made this sound like this has kind of been the idea for, a long time. So, if they were just talking, and I know Matt is, and even if it wasn't from, like, Mike Merles or Jeremy Crawford, I know Matt's friends with Satine Phoenix and Rudy, and they work directly for D&D.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that every once in a while they talk shop.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
It just made me wonder if any information was crossed over between the two, whether Matt's ideas forming his opinions may be forming some of their stuff, or their, backstory may be forming some of his stuff for the Kraken.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that outside of the realm of possibility, just because Mike Merles interacts with chat.
Right.
And he'll take ideas from chat.
And quite a bit, yeah.
So if he does that in the public forum like that, then you can bet in a private forum where he's got an NDA on somebody, like Matt Mercer.
Right.
And I think Matt has been doing this long enough and is a big enough D&D geek that if Merles or Crawford came to him and said, we want you to sign this NDA, and if you do, we're going to hit you up on your ideas for all the stuff we're working on, Matt would have signed it in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Because I probably would too.
So would I. I'd have signed it in blood form.
So that wouldn't surprise me if there's some of that going on. Or that Matt knows what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
And is going to pepper that in.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that went through my head, and I was like, oh, interesting, you know?
Yeah.
It's making me excited. I'm glad I pre-ordered the book, you know?
Yeah. So, coming up near Talks start time, and if we haven't gotten to it, this is usually the time we want to cram in our predictions for next episode.
Our predictions. We left with comprehend languages being cast in what appears to be the Crick from the story charging the group in the sewers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's the Drow. A Drow.
I am 95% certain it's a Drow.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Size, speaking Undercommon. The other one, the hand dipped in blue, that's just Drow skin color. Matt said it's fingerless gloves.
Yes. Yeah, no, he did.
That's a Drow.
Could be, yeah. I hadn't connected those two scenes.
Oh.
As far as, reference to the Drow.
Yeah.
But
we haven't seen the Drow be the Underdark
with
villains that they are.
With the Crick being the accordion of the Crick being in the Richter's home.
Yeah.
What that led me to wonder is she actually plotting things, and is she using someone dressed up as the Crick?
Did she really forget that gift?
Exactly.
Or was she coming back to do something else?
Exactly. Maybe it's something else. It's a regular elf or someone.
Yeah, and see, I think what's going to happen is...
Or is she aligned with them,
Matt has set them up to be the tipping point in this adventure.
Right.
Because they started getting involved in picking good people to be in positions of power. They recognize that something is not working in the Empire.
Right.
And now there's this external threat. But they don't know anything about that threat. And they have this book that's basically a Romeo and Juliet tale.
Right.
That has some sympathy towards them.
And see, the other reason I thought it might not be Drow is in the Fireside Chat when they made the Drow character that came and kidnapped Tyrion. When they decided on Drow, he said, "Oh, those aren't very common at all in Exandria."
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if they're not very common, there's the book on it, but I mean, how likely is it that this is going to be? There's going to be multiple Drow in the city,
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking maybe they were more populous in the past. But
yeah,
now
I think
someone, because my thought was the Richter is using someone pretending to be the Drow to kind of bring back that fear that, maybe to be a warmonger.
If it's an inside job, but I don't... Well, if she's trying to do like a false flag thing, but I don't think her involvement with it would be that. I think she is actively trying to further whatever cause. If she's involved in it at all.
Right.
That could just be a red herring that we're swallowing.
That could.
But
some sushi.
But that does definitely give the authorities and the Mighty Nine an angle to potentially work to bounce off from. Which is why I say Matt has set this up so that they are the fulcrum.
Yeah.
They are going to be the tipping point of maintain the status quo of the Empire or overthrow it.
Right.
And so that's what I think next episode is going to be, is them. It will, of course, start with the fight.
Yeah.
But do they kill that person
Or question.
or just make them unconscious? And if they do either of those things, does Caleb hoard that item that they had? And I'm interested to see what that thing does.
Yeah, the polyhedron.
Or was that the thing that made the tower collapse?
Yeah. Maybe he was taking one to another tower.
Yeah, because at first I was like, because what Matt described was almost a sphere of annihilation
Yeah.
sort of effect, but not really. And thinking about it right now, that might be closer to what he described the gate stones
Yeah.
for the Elven City and for the Shadowfell City.
Yeah.
That may be something similar to that.
Bring back the Shadowfell, the city.
Yeah. Well, Ford is a hexblade.
Yeah.
And the Shadowfell is where they get the power from. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible.
I think, yeah. And we'll see some fallout between.
Ford and Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the rest of the group too.
Yeah.
And
What I'm excited to see is when Nott gives Caleb the scroll case.
me too. Yeah. Because nobody knows she's got it. So,
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Join us over at Talks.
and we'll see you next week. Hopefully without problems. Bye.